Once upon a time, in the vibrant village of Amuna, surrounded by hills and whispering streams, lived Madam Ogoma, a wealthy widow with a sharp tongue, feared by many and respected by all. She owned acres of land, a fleet of workers, and the largest cocoa business in the East. But for all her wealth, one thing haunted her every day: the daughter she lost 20 years ago. They said it was an evil night when it happened. During a violent thunderstorm, while traveling back from a child's naming ceremony, her carriage had overturned near the forest. In the confusion, with screams and cries and the driver losing control, baby Adanne, her only child, had disappeared. All they found was the empty baby basket lying near the forest edge. For years, Madam Ogoma blamed everyone: the driver, her late husband, the gods, even herself. And when grief hardened her heart, she decided she would never open it again. She built walls, focused on business, and never adopted or bore another child. 20 years later, Madam Ogoma decided to hire a new maid after the last one stole from her. A young girl, soft-spoken, dark-skinned, with big curious eyes and a mole on her left shoulder, arrived at her gate. Her name was Ifunanya. There was something familiar about her, but Ogoma dismissed it. She didn't have time for feelings. Ifunanya was quiet but diligent. She cleaned, cooked, and never complained, even when Madam shouted or threw a plate at her for a tiny mistake. "You stupid girl," Ogoma barked. "Is this how to scrub a floor? My friend, hurry up and clean it again. I'll be having visitors later, and if I find even one tiny dirt in this living room, you'll be fired without pay. Useless girl." On another occasion, Ifunanya was weeding in the fields with other co-workers when Madam Ogoma came and lashed at her. "You lazy thing. Is this how to weed the farm? You want to kill my crops? Listen to me carefully. If you don't look at what others are doing and follow suit, you won't be eating tonight." Rubbish. What Ogoma didn't know was that Ifunanya had come with a purpose. "I'm here to serve and to find answers." She whispered this every night as she clutched the half-moon locket that hung around her neck, a locket that she was made to believe was given to her by the woman who gave birth to her in another village. 15 years ago, Ifunanya grew up in a small hut with Mama Nkiru, a blind herbalist who always told her she was special. "Your real mother is alive, child, and she's closer than you think." Before dying, Mama Nkiru gave her the locket and whispered a name, Ogoma. Ifunanya followed the trail. She begged to be hired. She was determined to see the woman who abandoned her and confront her if it was true. Back in the mansion, strange things began happening. Ogoma fell sick for the first time in years. Her businesses began crumbling. An old secret started surfacing. One day, a drunken relative, Uncle Kaleb, stumbled into the compound and saw Ifunanya. He screamed, "That's Adanne, the same birthmark. I was there that night. I helped the driver cover it up." Everyone froze. Ogoma demanded the full story. Kaleb confessed. He had been jealous of Ogoma's husband's wealth. He succeeded in killing her husband and wanted her baby out of the way, so he could collect all the farmlands from her in her most vulnerable state. He paid the driver to abandon the baby near the forest so that a wild animal would devour her and make it look like an accident. But the driver, being that he had a wife who couldn't bear children, accepted Kaleb's offer, and instead of abandoning the baby by the forest, took her to his barren wife and gave the baby to her instead. But the driver's wife died shortly after, and the driver ran mad. The baby ended up with Mama Nkiru. Ogoma collapsed. Ifunanya stood still, tears falling from her eyes. "You are my mother." Ogoma, shaking, whispered, "It can't be." She looked at the mole on Ifunanya's shoulder. The same mole baby Adanne had. And then Ifunanya showed the locket, the same one Ogoma had worn the night of the accident. But just when they embraced, another twist hit. A strange young woman stormed into the compound. Her name was Zinachi. She was Kaleb's daughter, and she had always believed she was Ogoma's heir. "No, that girl is a fraud. She can't come from nowhere and claim what belongs to me. I need to act fast." It turns out that Zinachi had been embezzling from Ogoma's business and feared being exposed now that the true heir had returned. So, she poisoned the water kept for Ifunanya to drink after eating, hoping to kill Ifunanya. But it was Ogoma who drank it. Ogoma was rushed to the village hospital and the poison was slowly neutralized. As she struggled between life and death, she held Ifunanya's hand and said, "Forgive me, my child. I didn't know. But you are the best thing that has ever happened to me." In a final twist of fate, Ifunanya forgave Zinachi after it was revealed that Ogoma drank poisoned water, but refused to let her go unpunished. She invited the police and ordered the arrest of Zinachi and Uncle Kaleb. They were arraigned in court and both served their sentences. Ogoma survived. She gave everything, her lands, her company, her legacy, to her daughter. And from that day, Ifunanya was no longer the maid. She was known as Lady Adanne of Amuna, and those who once looked down on her now bowed when she passed. But she never changed. She still helped in the kitchen. She still wore her locket. And every time someone asked, she just smiles and say, "Sometimes, being lost is just the beginning of being found." Moral of this story: never look down on anyone, for the one you despise today may be the one destiny has chosen to lift you tomorrow. If this story touched your heart, tell me in the comments below. What would you do if you found out the maid you mistreated was your own lost child? Would you forgive yourself? Would you be able to rebuild that bond? Thank you for watching. Please support the channel by subscribing, turn on the notification bell so you'd get notified when I drop a new video. And lastly, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share, so that more people would see the story. Goodbye, and I'll see you in my next video.